What's up, 2K crew? Yes, it is that time of the day, that time of the week. And first and foremost, I want to wish you and yours a happy Easter. And keep in mind, one thing I always like to stress is it's not what's on the table, but the people around it. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, and have a happy Easter. And I'm being invaded by dogs, which is always cool. But, man, it seems like I know we do the show every week, but it seems like, man, I haven't seen you guys. I haven't talked to you guys. And there's been a lot of stuff happen. So let's get into it. Let's jump off. And first and foremost, you might see that 2Ks is not here. Yes, 2Ks is sunning and bunning down in Florida with his family for spring break. So have a happy trip, 2Ks. I'll keep the fort going. Not a big deal. Have a safe trip home. And like I said, have a very, very happy vacation. But, yeah, let's do the norm. If you're new here, I'm Ryan Turbo Jackson, the host of the Turbo and 2K show. And with the show, we give you our amateur takes on everything sports. And we like to have a lot of fun. So I do have a link in the chat if you want to join our group. It is free. It's a Facebook group, and we have some of the best group members on there. So click the link. It is free to join, and I'd love to see you over there. But for all of you consuming this on the audio side, go ahead and click a follow, because obviously people have a problem with the word subscribe. They seem to think it costs money, but it does not. So follow us wherever you consume your audio content. And for those of you on YouTube, I would appreciate a like, subscribe, comment on the video. And if you're joining us live, go ahead and drop a comment in the comment box, and I will feature you on the show. So with 2Ks not being here, with it being Easter, might be a little shorter of a show, but we're gonna jam pack some knowledge and some reactions, because man, this tournament has been nothing but amazing, freaking amazing, and we've had a little bit of it all. We've had dominant teams, we've had Cinderellas. We've had buzzer beaters. We've had upsets. So, looking back on it, and I want to get up and close and personal with this one. If you took our betting advice last week, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, because not only did I give you advice, but I put my money on the line too. So, I do want to apologize. Believe the betting term is losing my shirt. Not really. With $5 and $10 bets. It'd be kind of hard to lose my shirt, but it was a rough go. It was a rough go, and yes, but rough betting, great games. And let's start off the first one with, I know it's going to hurt. I know there's a lot of folks, myself included, that was really, really disappointed. Hold on. Was really disappointed because Michigan lost. That game was... It was a bad time to have their worst game of the year. It really was. It really was. And UCLA was never... I mean, they were in the game, but it came down to the fact that Michigan could not make shots. They played amazing throughout three quarters of the game, and then even those 3 quarters, there was a lid on the bucket. There's a lid on the bucket, and very disappointing. But you got to commend UCLA. UCLA played a hell of a game. They stayed with Michigan, like I said, even though Michigan wasn't playing their best game. But they stayed with them. They shot for shot. It was a very close game all the way through. But yeah, when it came down to it, UCLA could make shots and Michigan couldn't. So, I'm sure there's a million people that are disappointed just like me. I was on the bandwagon, if not driving it. I think 2Ks and I have been driving this bandwagon for at least a couple years. Once Juwan Howard got hired in, and I mean, 2Ks has been driving the Michigan bandwagon for years and years, and I just happened to jump on because throughout I'm sure if you followed any of our content. Not really a Michigan fan. I'm a Notre Dame fan through and through, but this Michigan squad with Juwan Howard, even going forward, there's something special brewing there, which if you are a Michigan fan, you have to be super stoked that, yes, it sucks that they came up short of expectations this year. However, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Juwan is building for the future. This team, I'm not going to say had over-succeeded by any means because, they were a top 5 team all year. Well, not all year, but came into the top 5 about a quarter of the way of the season and never looked back. So for this team to come up short it's a bummer, but just wait. This is the tip of the iceberg. Because Juwan's got these boys playing hardcore. Yeah. My girl Josie wants to be on the show. I'm sorry, Josie. I can't move the camera so you can be on the show. I'm sorry. Dad loves you. And please don't knock over my cords. But with that being said, let me take a gander here. Alright. While I'm taking a gander, I know it's kind of off kilter, but loving the fact that baseball's back. Loving the absolute fact that baseball's back. Let's see here, Saturday. Nope, went back too far. Alright, hold on. Please hold. I know this is super compelling content, but I do apologize. So, where are we at here? Okay, it's not what I want, but there it is. So yeah, we had at Oregon State and Houston, which I was super pumped about that game. But my money was on Oregon State. They were, like 2Ks and I were talking about last week. They were hot. They were hot. And they ran into an equally hot Houston team, and that Houston team, man, they can shoot the ball for days. They don't play a whole ton of defense, but their MO is like I said, they can shoot forever. And Oregon State just fell short just a little bit. Huge game. Loved every minute of it. And the next game was Arkansas and Baylor. And, Baylor was the number 2 team all year. And Arkansas gave them a run for their money, which is kind of weird because we're looking at, and it's something we'll get to here in a little bit. We've had Gonzaga, wire to wire with the number 1 overall seed, and they've just been dominant. And it seems like as soon as a team gets close, they just flip it into a hole their gear, and bam, they're gone. And next thing you know, they're winning by 15, and the other team just really isn't in it. And for Baylor to be number 2, they haven't been as dominant as a lot of people would have liked. And for that, I think that you can see it in the betting line, to where there's a lot of people that are kind of hesitant because it's not as dominant. But to me, it doesn't matter. With that front court, my God. And we'll get into the good games here in a little bit, but just want to bring you up to speed to where we left off from last week. And yeah, it's like I said, it was Baylor 81, Arkansas 72. So it wasn't the 15-point drubbing that Gonzaga has been given. And speaking of which, let's just fast forward to that game. See Gonzaga 85, USC 66. So there you go. Proof is in the pudding. They're just being extremely dominant in every game that they play. And, the big knock on them was they haven't played anybody. But you know what? As a team, you can only play who's in front of you. And now we're deep into the tournament, and people are still saying they haven't played anybody. Yeah, they have. And the deeper they go in the tournament, they're going to play better teams. It's just facts. And for them to kind of disrobe USC, I picked that. But yeah, it wasn't a big shocker. USC pretty much wasn't in the game at all, which is kind of a shame because I wanted to see Gonzaga tested. We'll get to it in a minute. But Gonzaga has to prove something to me. And yes, I'm kind of taking that approach to where they haven't played anybody, but they have. But have they been tested? Even the Tom Brady's, the whatever your Patriots team that was, they went undefeated. There was some times where they were tested. Some close games. If I want to recall with Baltimore that there was a silly play or something that they got extremely fortunate to have the outcome come their way, and they ended up winning the game. So every team, there has to be something you have to be fortunate with. And yes, we're gonna get into that. So don't you worry. Just teasing it, just building it up. That's what I do. I'm the host. I can't just come and word vomit all over you. I gotta give the build up. I gotta give you the hook. I gotta provide, content. So we're gonna get to that. Don't worry. So that was a sweet. That was the Elite Eight. So we got that was. Let's see here. So let's fast forward to the Final Four. And like I previously mentioned with Houston, they're a jump shooting team. And the question was, would I want to say this? Would we've all kind of established that Baylor's front court is probably the best front court in the country. And people were questioning if they're going to be quick enough to defend Houston. With the way they run their offense, is the Baylor front court going to be fast enough? Are they going to be able to keep up? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's Josie. See, you got to be on the stream. Say hi, people. Hi, people. My name's Josie. I'm a 13-year-old black lab. Yeah, she's a good girl. Normally, I have him out of the studio, but she snuck in. I also have 2 German Shepherds that would likely tear this place apart. So they are definitely not in the studio. But the answer is yes. Baylor's front court could definitely guard Houston's, because this game was not a game at all. It was kind of disappointing because once you get to the Final Four, you should not have blowouts. In the Final Four. But Baylor said, Turbo, we got you a blowout right here. Sit back, 78-59. Wow. And for those of you that were wondering about Baylor's dominance and kind of questioning them from the previous games, I think that kind of it should put that to bed. Because that was almost boring to watch, to be honest with you. But the one thing I will say is that, like Michigan, Houston is in an amazing position going forward. Ralph Sampson has his program firmly in place. So, Houston, you will be back, along with Michigan. I mean, there's a lot of teams that's going to be back, but from what Ralph Sampson brought pretty much from the ashes to this Houston program, you got to kind of be a fan. You got to root for them just because it's hard work. It's recruiting, getting the right people in, getting people to buy into your program, your system. So good luck to you. I'm sure we'll see you back next year. And the game we've all been waiting to talk about. My dear Lord. Excuse me, my dear Lord. UCLA Gonzaga. Two things on this one. There was a lot of people that thought UCLA did not belong in the Final Four. You talk about a team that's bitten and clawed and did everything they could to get to this spot. That's UCLA. And Gonzaga. Like I told you, I wanted to see Gonzaga be tested. This game went to overtime. Went to fucking overtime. No team's taken Gonzaga to overtime all year. None. Obviously, they're undefeated. None of their games have been close. Gonzaga gave me kind of the confirmation that when tested, we got this. And for those of you that did not watch the end of the game, oh my god. Like I said, it went to overtime, and UCLA had the ball with just a handful of seconds. Kid drives to the basket, makes a think roll, ties the game at 90. With, I want to say, like 3.3 seconds. Ties the game. Gonzaga inbounds. does not take a timeout, which I was kind of shocked. Did not take a timeout. Dude lofts a three from between half court and the 3-point line. Banks it in for the win. I mean, ball hit the backboard. The backboard turned red. Time had expired. Ba-doom. I was in complete and utter shock. And then once I saw the I'm not gonna try to recall his name because I don't want to fuck it up, but jumps up on the scores table and is just kind of being Superman, and oh my gosh. So in real time, I was more interested in where he shot the ball from. So I wanted to see a replay just to make sure that time was not an issue, and it wasn't. So we have, like I said, Baylor got pushed, won by 3 points. I'm almost positive if you go through every game that Baylor played this year, this is going to be the closest one. And by a team that most people thought wouldn't be there. Kind of the beauty of March Madness. Now, with that beauty of March Madness, 2K crew and the listeners, I want to know. Comment down below. Which do you like? I mean, we have the pretty much wire to wire 1 and 2 teams. Throughout all the craziness and overtimes and upsets and everything else through the tournament, we're left with chalk. Now, do you like that version, or are you a fan of the Cinderella? Like, if UCLA would have won, would you have tuned in to see how UCLA would face Baylor? How that game would go? Or on the other hand, if Houston would have beat Baylor? Do you want the upsets in there? Do you want the Cinderellas? Or do you want the chalk? In my opinion, I want the chalk. Because the tournament proved who the top 2 teams were all year. We knew it. The polls proved it. But this is cut and dry. Through the NCAA tournament, top 2 teams are here. So maybe the people making the predictions or the rankings, I don't know what they're talking about. At least with these two teams. And I do want to say, I did want to throw a big kudos out to Baylor, because after their scare, defensively they weren't the same. Once the tournament hit, kind of shifted gears and kind of got their poop in a group, if you will. And here's the fruit of their labor. Monday night they're going up against Gonzaga. I cannot fucking wait for this game. And let's see here. Monday. It's Gonzaga by 4.5. I don't know how I feel about that. Let's check, just for shits and giggles here. Let's see. Check the Barstool or the DraftKings app. And sports. Okay. So I mentioned that Gonzaga's giving 4.5. Over under at 160. I don't know. To me, this is one of those games I might just leave alone and watch. It's I don't know. I might throw a little bit. If I'm going anything, taking the under. Taking the under, not messing around with the money line. Spread, I'm definitely not messing with. Might take the under. So, Turbo's betting advice. Turbo's tips for betting. I know that the cliche, scared money don't make none, but I'm someone that's a very novice at this. If you were to follow someone that actually knows what the fuck they're doing, you could probably dissect this and be, oh, put this here, put this here, put this here. Not that guy, 2K Crew, and I'm not gonna pretend to be that guy. So you guys follow my advice and lose your ass, because I don't want you mad at me, and I don't want your wives calling me saying, oh my God, Turbo, why did you tell her to do this? And all of a sudden, we can't pay the electric bill. No. See, even the dogs are telling you, don't do it. But playfully, I'll give you what I'm betting on. And if you want to follow, you can follow. But definitely not giving betting. I'm definitely not a bookie, and not sure what the fuck that was. But we're going to keep it that way because, like I said, I don't want your wives calling me and being pissed off, giving you bad betting advice. Which is, if your wife's calling me, you need advice in other areas in your life, brother. So, I'm shocked I rambled on for that long about betting, and your wife's calling me. Which I really shouldn't talk about your wives calling me, because I am engaged. So, any female members of the 2K Crew, probably not a good idea. Which you guys have never called anyway, so I don't know why you would start now, but just throwing that out there. Well, 2K Crew, I do want to thank you from the bottom of my heart with every video that you guys watch. Like I said, not going to be a really long stream today. I'm probably going to button it up here in a little bit. But if you do want to support the channel, we love doing this, but there are some monetary things that come into it. So if you do want to contribute, $5, $10, $15, you can do it once, you can do it twice. You can set up a monthly thing to where it comes out of your account every month. Go to buyturbobeer.com. Buyturbobeer.com. Shit! Jesus Christ, Josie.